your priorities are to invest in power as well as infrastructure projects. What were the factors behind this to choose?
Mostly because our network or partnership is mostly consists of investor who has an appetite in that kind of industry, infrastructure, energy sector. Those are the things that actually are very needed in this, particularly in this region.
What type of parameters you evaluate before investing in any project? The audience of the club want to learn.
When we look at any type of business or project, the first thing that we look at who's actually owning the business, who's the owner, who's the ultimate owner.
What type of factors do you consider for the projects to be most attractive for you to invest?
Now the trend is, of course, everything about ESG, everything about sustainability, everything about AI, those are the things that which is the trend now.
There are different regulatory requirements for every country. How do you navigate those complex structures?
Regulation change all the time. In emerging markets, for example, in Indonesia, I give you an example. In Indonesia, once you change ministry, the issue is the challenge that we have in Indonesia, for example, once the ministry is changing, the regulation also follow.
This is Sher Afzal, the founder, the CEO of Global CEO Club Private Limited. It's a registered private limited company in Pakistan. And the main role, the main function of Global CEO Club is to expand international trade and investments. And the investments are for the private sector as well as for the public sector. Today, we have invited very prominent, very honorable investor from Indonesia, Mr. Moshe Rizal. I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Moshe, and thank you so much. You joined today's session, and our ultimate objective to promote investments across the world. So I request you to introduce yourself to the audience of Global CEO Club.
Right. Thank you very much, Cher. I'm very honored to be invited by you to join this club as well as this today's session, podcast session. So thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, I'm currently working in an so-called financial industry. We do investment, but let me get you a story since you asked. My journey, actually started in Singapore, not even in Indonesia. Because I'm working with one of the listed company there, not in energy sector, but in manufacturing sector, which I'm actually responsible for our automotive business in that company. And then I'm back to Indonesia in 2012. I'm joining one of the oil and gas company here in Indonesia. Working my responsibility will be leading and managing our close partners as well as our investment partners, our government partners, as well as our participating interest partners as well. So, and from there, back in 2017, with one equity firm based in Zurich and London. And from there, my journey towards investment started, and I founded one of the advisory firm here in Indonesia, my own with also a few other partners, and then working towards investing mostly in energy sector as well as infrastructure, closely with mostly our partners in Europe. And then we expand And then we have partnership also in Asia. I also work not only projects in Indonesia, but also in China, South America, even Africa. Yeah, reviewing project, helping my partners to to close deals. I'm quite well known as in Indonesia as a deal maker. Because I have my intuitions, my knowledge, and my network here in Indonesia as well in this region. So, yeah, basically that's a brief about me.
And thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Again,
If you have any other questions?
again, I'm very grateful to you that you are part of Global CEO Club community for many years. And from time to time, I'm discussing with you the probable proposal for the investments related with uh, energy sector or infrastructure. So your priorities are to invest in power as well as infrastructure projects. What were the factors behind this to choose?
Well, mostly because our network or partnership is mostly consists of investor who has an appetite in that kind of industry, infrastructure, energy sector. Those are the things that actually are very needed in this, particularly in this region, in Southeast Asia, across Asia, South America, even Africa. So that's what I'm focusing right now. But of course, I'm not closing opportunity in other sector as well, especially AI, technology, and so on and so on. I even founded one of company who actually partnership with technology provider across the world to enter into Indonesia. So I'm open to that as well. The thing is, my network focus on energy sector, infrastructure, uh, anything above 50, 100 million US dollars.
Oh, thank you. So you have many decades experience for investment in energy and infrastructure sectors. What were the lessons you got or learned from these sectors?
Yes, so well, there's a lot of lessons. I have my own mentor, which is very senior, our senior partners in the company. Teach me a lot actually about the investment world, about the project. There's a lot of things that I learned, especially that each country has its own unique local culture. Yeah, unique way how they do business, unique way how they actually invest or even propose a project and how they conduct business as well. So those are the things that I actually learned to adapt and then to see what are the things that suited most to our investors, suited most to our project owners. Those are the very valuable lessons that I learned towards my journey.
Oh, thank you, and I must appreciate you are doing an awesome job, and I pray you keep it up and grow your business everywhere in the world. So, what type of parameters you evaluate before investing in any project? The audience of the club want to learn.
Right. So when we look at the projects, when we look at business, basically we also do M&A. Yeah. So we do restructuring of fund of that fund. We do also M&A, yeah, merger and acquisition. So when we look at any type of business or project, the first thing that we look at who's actually owning the business, who's the owner, who's the ultimate owner, who's behind those projects or those business. Yeah, we need to actually understand because if we are going to invest into something that is going to be a long term, right? It's going to be 5 years, 10 years, maybe even 15 years. So we're going to be working with that gentleman or lady to towards our investment journey. Yeah, so we need to understand whether they have to be trustable, their integrity, and what is behind them on requesting for investment. Is it to fund the project? Is it to sell? Is it to what the reason behind? So those are the things that we focus on first, yeah, to make sure that uh, if let's say we do invest, if let's say we close the deal, if let's say we do a financial closing with them, it's going to be a smooth, long run working together with them. So those are the key things that I think we need to still focus on. Apart of any other things, which is the readiness of the project itself. I'm working with various investment firm which has a different so-called threshold or different appetites. Some are okay with greenfield projects, some are not, some require some sort of level of readiness of the project itself. So those are the things that always try to be in detail, to be make sure that everything is really ready before I discuss internally with our investment committee or investment partners, or even to pass through to other our investment partners, other company, other entities, other investors. Yeah, uh, for those, I have to be ready because they trust me to actually provide some sort of you know guarantee that the project is actually real. One thing. Second thing, project is really economical. Second thing, a project that can be closed within a certain period, right? Because there's a lot of things that I receive. Some project owners, some project developers proposing a business partners for example for acquisitions, for example, yeah, that actually not ready, and then we spend too much time, and then we waste our time, waste our time, we waste their time as well, and then finally we don't close. So it's wow, I experienced so many such cases. So we have to be particular at the beginning to make sure that yeah, this is something that we can work on. This is something that we can actually close. Yeah, so that's other things that we are very particular, and we understand each and every investor appetites. So we know that this group of people, this group of investor, they prefer this kind of investment in terms of investment, in terms of criteria, investment criteria. They have their own appetites. Yeah, they want to focus on. So not every investor is actually the same. So there's other things that we are very very experienced and very focused on. So that's why our investor actually trust us uh, while we are proposing opportunity for them. So that's other thing that we need to get across to a lot of project developers, business owners to make sure your project or your business are ready for investor. So those are the things we actually can help as well because we understand. I've been in both where I'm on the investor side, and also I have my own project. Our own project, we're actually looking for investors. So I've been in both sides, so I understand what their triggers, what their threshold, what their appetite is. And then on the other side, the project developer, what are their limitations and so on and so on. So those are the things that we combine. So those are experience that we combine. So we not just as a advisor, we are a partnership with them to make sure that the project or the business are ready to be presented to investor and as attractive as it could be for the investor to invest in. So those are the key factor of our values, yeah, in the company.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Keep it up. And My good wishes, my best wishes are with you always. Uh, what type of factors do you consider for the projects to be most attractive for you to invest?
Right. Now the trend is, of course, everything about ESG, everything about sustainability, everything about AI, those are the things that which is the trend now, which I understand. But on the other hand, we cannot also close the opportunity, which is oil and gas, which is energy sector, which has not always renewable. Yeah, you have nuclear, we have opportunity, which we are still looking for. Yeah, we haven't experienced in that particular sector, but it's something that is going to be a trend as well. Yeah, and as you can see right now, the trend is changing. Everything is about AI. Everything is about data centers and so on and so on. And that requires energy. That's why energy sector is most crucial to support any kind of business, any kind of trend that industrial trend, yeah, that any countries around the world need it, right? So like right now, EIA back in June or July, they insisted that the trend, for example, I give an example, oil and gas, for example. According to EIA, international organizations, they mentioned that the trend of oil and gas will be peak, yeah, in 2029. That was back in June or July, their own report. And then in November, they actually totally changed. They mentioned the oil and gas demand will keep continuing growing even after 2050. And because why? Because of the new trend, which is AI.
Oh,
Yeah. OpenAI is going to invest in 200 their $200 billion plant, yeah, which is huge, yeah, $200 billion data centers, yeah, so which is huge, and it's going to this trend is going to be exponential the next probably the next 10 or 50 years. So that requires energy, yeah, not any type of energy, but the energy which is stable. So if you put renewables, you need to put renewables such as wind and solar, for example. You need to put batteries in so to make it stable. But the problem is the investment is so much, and the concern about those kind of system has put that oil and gas will continue to be the biggest trend for energy to be consumed because gas is cleaner, but it's more stable, so you have that certainty of energy supply. And on top of that, going to new trend is actually nuclear. Yeah, because of AI as well. Because nuclear is the most stable, the most energy efficient, and probably the cleanest energy of all. Uh, that can support actually AI, very suitable for AI. So those are the trends that's going to be very prominent the next 10, 15 years. Yeah. So that's why we need to adapt, but that's why we need to learn new things. We need to understand what kind of AI is, yeah, kind of investments. But everything is about AI, right? So I think that could be our biggest opportunity, but also could be our biggest hurdles because there's a lot of things going on behind that we need to tackle. We need to, if you build data centers, the main question, where the energy come from? That's one of the main questions. Where are you going to get the energy? Do you have enough supply power, a stable supply power? Are you going to back up? Because they cannot stop. They cannot just, one day shut down, for example, because lack of supply of energy. So those are the key things that they need right now. That's why. fossil fuels as well as nuclear is going to be continue to be the trend the next 10 to 15 years. So I think these are the things that we still need to focus on. Of course, there's a lot of the things that investment appetite is still trend, especially in the emerging markets. Infrastructure is still badly needed. Even now, in the Western countries, for example, infrastructure is the trend because they're getting older, right? Infrastructure has to be renewed. Infrastructure has to be still invested in. So those are the things that still going to be the trend anytime, any year, in the next maybe 50, 100 years. So infrastructure is also very, very important in some countries, especially developing countries, emerging markets, and so on and so on. So I think that's could be that could be it. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I'm in discussion with the government departments of Pakistan. A lot of projects related with energy, power sector, as well as related with the development of airports. And soon, I would share with you and request you to participate with the government of Pakistan. Uh, as you are associated with many investment firms in Europe and in Asia. How do you differentiate between these two regions for investments?
Right. So basically, there are two totally distinct markets. Yeah. Asia is still heavily dependent on foreign investment. Yeah. For example, if you look at Indonesia, our most of our foreign investment come from Singapore, Hong Kong, which is a financial hub. Yeah. Those money coming from Europe or also US, also from Asia as well. So Asia is still heavily dependent on foreign investment. Even China is looking for foreign investment. On the other hand, Europe are mostly uh, investor. So they have, well, of course, they have their own project, they have their own, but for them, it's easier for them to get investor because they have their own local investor, they have their own government who actually support, who has a sovereign wealth fund, for example, can also invest into those projects. So projects in Europe, for example, uh, still is very, very attractive because they are mostly ready to be invested because some of the money also come from within, which they help to get the project or the business ready for the next investment or for larger investment, which is can come from US, can come from Middle East, for example, and so on and so on. So those are projects, but the problem is a very saturated market, yeah, because there's a lot of investor also looking for local investment as well. So for us to compete in that market is quite difficult. On the other hand, in Asia, you have still huge opportunity infrastructure project, large infrastructure project, talking about billions of dollars of infrastructure project, energy project, because we are not a mature market yet in Asia mostly. Yeah, it's not a mature market, so the opportunity is still large. Yeah, the margins that we can get from the project can be quite substantial as well. So those are the things that differ between Europe and Asian markets, uh, and also the type of investment portfolio, also investment appetite between those investors from Europe and Asia is also totally different. It's kind of where you have Asian investor which yeah, they care about ESG but not so much. They're fully focusing on commerciality of the project or commerciality of the business itself. On the other hand, investor in Europe, they heavily dependent because of their shareholder, because of their country, who actually pushing towards ESG related or sustainable related investment. So they're focusing, they are very rigid, their requirement is tougher in terms of ESG. So there's two different kind of investment profile that you have between Europe and Asia. Yeah, there's other things that can differ, and we can take advantage of both, where we can combine or we can choose which one which is most suitable for our clients.
Oh, thank you so much. What emerging markets do you consider most promising to make investments?
Right. So, of course, Southeast Asia is still very promising, especially Indonesia. There's still huge potential over here in terms of in the mining sector, for example, the oil and gas sectors, uh, infrastructure as well. We heavily needed, to speed up our infrastructure development, and those are they need in investor. Indonesia is also the biggest country, has the biggest population, where you have a huge potential market in terms of sales. Yeah. So those who actually invest in business in Indonesia, you have a huge market. You have access to actually 280 million people of population, which is the fourth largest population in the world. On the other hand, Southeast Asia, for example, Malaysia, Vietnam, there's also very potential. Where Malaysia is a very trustable market. I'm not talking about Singapore. Singapore, everyone very knows, but it's very small. But Malaysia has big potential as well. Vietnam, which has a very supportive government. So those are the things that are very prominent in Southeast Asia. On the other hand, on the other parts of the world, for example, South America. South America is also very interesting. It's similar to it's also emerging markets. Yeah, very huge potential in terms of earning potential business, huge market as well. Yeah, and some of the double digits economic growth is actually coming from South America. On the other side, Africa is also very interesting, to be honest. Because what? Because the top 10, most of the top 10 uh, highest GDP, yeah, GDP growth is actually from Africa. So Africa is now growing to be, they try to, to push themselves to be industrialized. And those that industrializations, they need energy, they need infrastructure, they need a lot of things that actually we can take advantage. And there's a lot of opportunity in that sector. But of course, that potential market is huge, but it's also quite risky. There's a lot of countries in Africa which has a higher country risk. Yeah, so those are the things that if you can take risks, you go there because you can get a lot of opportunity. But if you are afraid to take risks, you don't go there because if you don't know the local, you don't have any trustable plus locally, then it is very risky for any investor. But the potential is there, and the demand is there as well. The demand for investor, the demand of for products, for technologies, and so on and so on. So those are the Southeast Asia. We're talking about South America, talking about Africa. Those are the most prominent emerging markets, especially.
Oh, thank you. As you mentioned, that African countries are the most attractive uh, region for the investment right now, because there is a large scope of work. Soon, Global CEO Club, along with its partners, would be having investment and business summits in African countries like Botswana, like Ghana, like Sierra Leone, like Nigeria, like DRC Congo, many, and in so many other countries in for Africa. So then I would request you to join hands to make investments in African countries and join those events also. So we continue our session. There are many issues, many problems which are being faced by the investors in different regions of the world. How do you manage it?
What sort of problem? We're talking about problems within the project, within the business.
Political
Is that
problems,
what you're
financial
saying?
problems.
You're breaking up.
Yeah,
Can you repeat
you,
again?
your political problems to invest, financial problems to invest.
Yeah. So yeah, basically that's the two big issues. So you have Western market, for example, Western countries, which is very stable, less country risk. But the problem is the market itself is very saturated, right? And you have the Asian market, you have the emerging markets, Asia, whether it's Africa, whether it's South America, which has a huge potential, as you say, but the country risk is higher. So those are the things that we have to balance. It depends on the appetite of our investor as well. You know, some of them they refer to other investor if they say they don't have any experience in that countries. Yeah. So they get reference from any investor how to invest in that country, what are the hurdles, what are the challenges, those kind of things. But most important thing is actually having a local partner, trustable local partner. That's a very, very important, especially in the emerging markets, because those local partners who actually understand the local custom, to understand the regulations, to understand what's network within the country itself, can actually secure your positions, can actually, protect you from any type of, potential issues or challenges. Yeah. So, but to have to choose and to identify a local partner which is can be trusted, that's also very difficult. Yeah, especially those who has no experience in those emerging markets. There is a very, very, very so-called very difficult to find that particular partners who has all uh, the criteria as the trustable partners locally. But that's crucial actually, because you need someone who understands what's happening in the ground. But you need someone to understand who can talk to those people who can actually support your project, support your investment. And so local partners is very, very important. That's why for Indonesia, of course, one of the local partners can be trusted. We know all around, we know our governments, we know our local custom. Even in Indonesia, different part of Indonesia has different custom as well. Different part of Indonesia have different local government who has different kind of uh, profile, So those are the things that actually any investor or to enter into, especially emerging market, to get into that. So those local partners can help you, they help you along the way, across the investment, across your journey to close the deals, and then to actually run the business or run the project smoothly. And we can actually help identify those local partners. We have partners, across many continents. Those are the things that we can help our investor to choose that local partner, so we can they have more confidence to invest. Yeah, they feel secure, they feel safe. Yeah, if there is anything, it doesn't mean that the project is going to get wrong. Sometimes the project will stall, sometimes the project will hold, but at least they don't lose money. They don't. They don't get something which is not comfortable for them. Yeah? So those are the things that any investor has to have before entering into a specific region or specific country to invest in, especially in emerging markets.
There are different regulatory requirements for every country. How do you navigate uh, those complex structures?
This is also the reason why it's important to have a local, yeah, because local partners who can actually advise investor or Japanese who wants to invest into the country, uh, the regulations, the changes, regulation change all the time. In emerging markets, for example, in Indonesia, I give you an example. In Indonesia, once you change ministry, the issue is the challenge that we have in Indonesia, for example, once the ministry is changing, the regulation also follow the new ministry. So also changing. There's a lot of uncertainty that actually, as a local partner, can have a very meaningful impact to advise to investor what are the changes, what are the things, what are the risks. Yeah, because investor always talk about risk. Yeah, country risk, currency risk, project risk, all kind of risk. So local partner will understand what exactly is the regulation is, what's going to happen in the next few years, for example. They probably know also that they're going to be a lot of changes, because they're the one who actually on site. They're the one who actually locally available to understand what's going on. So that's why having a local partners is very much critical or is key to any investor.
Oh, thank you. Uh, as you mentioned, there are too many uncertainties to make investments in different regions of the world. What type of common mistakes are being made by the investors to invest in different regions of the world?
The first foremost is basically not knowing the country itself, not having a conversation with other investors who actually have been into that country, who has been into that, who has invested or who has experience in that country. So also investor who actually rely too much on international consultants, for example, huge, the big fund consultant, for example. And by the way, also independently hired by international consultant to advise them on what need to be looked at in terms of local wisdom, local custom, local regulations, and so on and so on. Because those international, they're big companies, they are full of smart people, but they do not have the grasp of having experience, having knowledge, and having a network within the community, within the region, within the country itself. So they usually have a lack of understanding locally, yeah, because they have a standard, they have this template. Everything is about a template where they can just copy and paste. So having a local consultant who has a very good knowledge and local partners who have a very good knowledge about his or her country, about the region, about even as I mentioned, Indonesia is so big. If you want to have a project in Sumatra, a project in Papua, for example, it's totally different kind of environment. Yeah. So even though it's one country, you also still need to have a local consultant, local partners to actually, um, go through opportunities, and they actually can advise you on those risks that they have. So those are the mistakes that usually the investor wants come to emerging markets have, because they have they have this kind of understanding that everything is the same. So everything is have integrity. You can trust all the people locally. You can't. Seriously, you can't. Even in Western country, you have to be. Sometimes you also need a local partner, even though it's a stable country. All these things very clear. The regulation is very clear, but you still need to have some sort of um, partner who can actually handle all the challenges locally, whenever during the negotiations, during before making a deal, or during the financial closing, or even after the financial closing, when the project has started to begin. So those are the things that usually the mistakes that any investor uh, come to emerging markets. So we can avoid that, of course. We can They can talk to somebody where actually they can trust, and have a grasp of the local markets.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Uh, what type of key success factors should be do you consider very important while making long-term investments?
Well, the success factor is don't always try to follow the trend, because trend can be, can vanish anytime. Yeah. Like for example, you're talking about renewables. You're talking about those investment to renewables. Yes, it's very attractive. There's a lot of incentive that provided by the government. Some of our investors also, explain to us they have a concern about those kind of investment. It is good for the environment. It is trendy, easier to get a loan, for example, very cheaply. Sometimes you have very attractive interest rates for a green bond, for green loan, for example, green related or sustainable related loan. Yeah, you can get cheaply. But on the other hand, those kind of investment also require a lot of incentive from the government. Yeah, you're talking about incentive, you're talking about uncertainty. You're not talking about, yes, it's good, you get a bonus, yeah, you get a good deal, you get supported by the government. But the problem, especially in the emerging market, where the government is really, well, we can say inconsistent. Yeah. Once there's a change in the government, there's also the change in the law, change in the regulation, and so on and so on. So those incentives can be got anytime, and it happens. Yeah, it happens in some of the countries, for example, where those incentives was introduced, and everybody is happy and investing, and too much, and then the government decided, okay, let's reduce the incentive. Yeah. So those are the risks that comes with investing something which is heavily reliant on incentive, which we also don't like. what we usually did with some of our investors, we identify those projects which it is good to have incentive, but can be economic, can be successful without an incentive. And if there is an incentive is just a bonus, yeah, to get things more attractive, yeah. But we are looking for a project even without any incentive, they are economic and attractive enough for an investor to make money. So those are the things which is very crucial for an investor, because in any country, even the Western country, they also change. The regulation can change. Incentive can be applied, but also can be removed anytime. So these are the things that we need to look for. These are the things that we understand. That's why I say I understand what my investor think, because I've been in that position. I also understand what the project developer think, because I also in that situations before, and even currently right now, looking for investors. So we understand both parties, and then how can we match actually uh, uh, the appetites, as well as the keen interest between the two parties, and have a win-win situation between both. So that's are the key factor for any investment, for any project development.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm very grateful to you again to continue our session. Uh, how do you formulate the proposition, the composition of your investment, whether it is in form of loan, debt, or equity? And if it is debt, how much do you charge as interest?
Well, again, we are advisory, so we are looking for any type of lenders, whether it's investor or lenders, yeah, that's actually suit to the project itself. So we don't. Sometimes a small project can have an interest rate which is high because they're small, and then there are less ESG kind of investment, for example. So you can have you can have a double-digit loan, which is still workable, still economical for any project. It doesn't mean you have to have interest rate of 3%, 4% to be economic. But some cases, some projects need to have that kind of loan, for example. In terms of compositions, usually lender will lend you money from 70 to from 70 to 60% of the total capex. Yeah. And the rest of it you need to fill in the gaps by having an equity plus. Yeah. So those are the things that we need to look as well. We can help any any project developer or any business to look for. So in terms of M&A, for example, if you want to restructure your debt, yeah, of course we need to understand what is the current situation, what are the terms of the current give, or you need to what are sort of obligation and liabilities that you need to actually fulfill. And from there, we can identify a lender that actually suits, that actually can, help your cash flow. Very important. The cash flow is very important. This is your lifeline. This is your blood, right? If you have a negative cash flow, too much negative cash flow means it's like you have a toxic in your blood, and then you're dying every single day. Those are the things. So those are the key factor that you need to look for, and then we help clients to look the particular members of particular investor. Is in even M&A require maybe require equity partners as well. The share they're selling the shares usually. As on top of that, restructure the debt. It can be a combination of both as well. It depends on the project. It depends on the on the business that we are they're looking for investment or looking for lenders.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. How do you see the future of energy sector in the coming decades?
Right. So fossil fuel will still be to be honest, to be a trend, especially in gas. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, that everything is AI. Yeah, AI related, and those AI also wants to be green. Yeah, wants to be less damaging to environment. So they're looking renewables plus batteries, but they're also looking for a less damaging fossil fuels, which is gas. So those are the things that in energy sector, gas, renewables with batteries, as well as nuclear. Yeah, nuclear is also it's not new, but it's going to be a big trend because it's very, of course, it takes a long time because of the safety challenges that they have. The regulation is very tough. Yeah, but nuclear doesn't need incentive. Yeah, when you build your nuclear plant, you don't need an incentive for your PPA, for example, because it's already cheap enough. You're talking about long term, right? Uh, Contract lifetime of nuclear power plants can be, up to 80 years, 100, even 100 years. There are permits which actually they are still working. They are working on permits which can actually last for 100 years. Imagine that. So you have a very lucrative long term, and they don't need incentive. Fossil fuel doesn't need much incentive to be applied on, because government are lacking to give incentive, but even that they actually can make their feed economics as well. But renewable is heavily incentivized. Yeah, so those are the things. Yes, it's green. Yes, it's clean. Yeah, but on the other hand, there's this kind of risk that incentive, if they pull out, it can actually ruin the project or ruin the whole business. So those are the things that you have to balance and then see which one you prefer, which one the investor prefer, the lender prefer, and we help them, identify those opportunities.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Uh, Before conclusion, I want your suggestion that how Global CEO Club and your organization can collaborate to support the governments as well as mega project holders.
I think the you have a very good community. To be honest, it's very uh, it helps give values to our cause. Yeah, especially my side, for example, with the huge network and so on and so on. So I think what we can do together is to create a special event, which you are actually going to do next year, for example, in different location, different region that covers a lot of countries within the region, for example. We can have an event in Indonesia, for example, about investment. We can focus on one sector, or can have generally in many sectors, for example. The event, then we can, can invite a lot of players, a lot of investors from your community, whether it's a technology provider, whether it's investor, some not even international investor, they sometimes doesn't have any or doesn't have so much experience or so much knowledge about one country and wants to explore, right? So we can, by doing events or by doing, conferences or even exhibitions of technology provider, we can actually bridge that gap. Yeah, so they can know more about our countries. We can introduce them, and we can have a meaningful discussions which focuses on the challenges rather than just on opportunity. yes, we have so much opportunity. What the investor also needs is what are the challenges, what are the risks, yeah, and then we can bring someone which has already an experience in the region or in the country to can share the experience as well, so other investors can actually learn and then see whether it's attractive enough or the country is attractive enough or or within that threshold to invest in. So these are the things that we can collaborate. We have a wonderful network here, share, so we can take advantage that and then bring values to our members.
Oh, thank you so much. So, before conclusion, I'm very grateful to you that joined this session to convey your business to the business world, to the governments, and ultimately, this is as you mentioned that Global CEO Club is playing a role as a bridge among the businesses as well as the governments of the world. So I'm very grateful to you again, and you spared some time to join this session to support the businesses. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Share. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Happy
Have a
holiday.
nice time. Have a nice time. Thank you.